recording right now?
Recording right now?
Oh.
Thera Sisters, Giggles and Glimmers.
Oh my.
Hi there.
Hello, welcome to the Thera Sisters podcast.
Welcome to Thera Sisters.
I'm Catherine Barton.
And I'm Amy Camp Ryan.
Yay.
Awesome.
So today is a wonderful day. We have Carolyn Lewis here to join us to talk about art.
I'm so exciting.
All the wonderful things she has to talk about.
Yes, I'm excited. I try to be exciting, but I'm excited.
That you are exciting as a person.
Yes. Yes. No. So I know Carolyn from my son's school. So she is a parent to one of Thomas's friends, and we met, I guess, in like kindergarten. We met in kindergarten, and now we're in 5th grade.
She's standing over there. She is standing over there.
So I keep looking over there.
Well, so first, before we dive in, do we have anything we need to share, talk about, anything that recently is healing?
You are moving forward in a new to you kind of car.
Oh, well, hopefully. Well, so I was healing from selling my car that I had for 12 years that I loved.
12 years.
And it actually was actually kind of a super cool thing because the person who contacted me was a friend of a friend. They found me on Facebook. Their last name is one letter different than my last name.
Oh, weird.
They were giving it to their 15-year-old son. And they are friends of a friend who's our cousin. And one of their kids is in our cousin's classroom in school. Like, it's all these connected things. They're in Olivia's class.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I was just like, this is perfect.
Small world.
And then they sent me the video of when they gave it to their son. And he was so, like, happy and overwhelmed with it. And it was great. So it was the perfect goodbye.
Yes. Goodbye.
And I'm moving on. So anyway, that was my recent wonderful thing.
I like it. Yeah.
So
I'm looking forward to changing our garage, our one-car garage in our small city home into a family room because with a soon-to-be teenager, I need some space, man. I'm excited. It starts tomorrow.
Yay!
So
well, let's bring Carolyn.
Yes,
Come
in.
in.
Yeah, jump on in.
All right.
Join the fun.
Sit on our poof.
Okay.
Get comfy.
Oh my gosh.
Aren't they pretty
That's fun.
comfy?
I know, it's not bad.
Yeah.
When was the last time you sat on the floor?
It's been a hot minute. You know, I feel like with age,
Yes.
I get a little hesitant
to
get on the floor for a long period of time.
Because then you have to get up.
Because then the lower back and the hips and all that.
Yes.
But no, this is good. This is fun.
Welcome. Yes. Welcome to Thera Sisters.
I'm excited.
Yes.
Yay.
Yes.
So
I'm nervous.
Yeah. Oh, well,
sometimes the nerves make you more excited.
It does. Right? They kind of physically feel the same. You're having the same physical response to anxiety and excitement with the heart rate, maybe the tummy, right? There's similar things.
You know, I was just talking about this on an Instagram post today about being nervous and excited and like stepping out of your comfort zone and how beautiful and magical that is.
Yes.
Like I can be so scared to do it, but then when it actually happens, like that's where the magic happens.
Yeah,
that's where the beauty comes in. So
was that in relation to, because you just did like a live painting, right? At a fundraiser.
So I've never done this before. I did a live paint. I brought all my paints and the canvas and everything. I did this live painting in front of like 350 people.
Oh my God.
And usually I'm in my studio where I'm messy.
Right. And no one's watching you.
No one's watching me.
300 people.
And I had to dress up. And I was nervous I was going to get paint on my clothes.
Right.
But I started, I brought all my supplies there. It was at a country club. So it was a little bit fancier painting space than my studio. And I did a painting, and then they immediately auctioned it off.
The first
one.
Oh my God.
Right in front of everybody.
Oh my gosh.
Nervous
and exciting.
Nervous
and
because it felt like
Is that scary?
I felt like I was standing on a stage where everybody was watching me, and I had no idea what was about to happen.
Right.
It was that feeling of like being accepted, I guess.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Like,
is
somebody gonna like it?
Yes, I see.
Who's gonna bid on it?
Right.
What if they don't?
Yes.
How embarrassing!
Right.
And I didn't know anybody.
Right.
So my plan was that I was just gonna leave. I was just gonna leave.
Well, that's good to have a plan. You need an escape
backup plan.
Yeah.
But it went really well, and this wonderful couple bid on it, and they got it, and they came and picked it up yesterday, and it was just it just went to the perfect person. I always say my art, or anybody's art, always finds the perfect person.
Yes.
The art chooses the person.
Yeah.
And it did.
Yeah, you do have some great stories, and I don't want to. So, real first before we keep going, because we just jumped right in.
We just did.
Just jumped
probably
right
because
in.
we're comfortable with you.
Yeah.
We already know you pretty well.
Right, exactly. But tell us, Carolyn Lewis Designs. Tell us all about Carolyn Lewis Designs.
Yeah.
So I am a mixed media artist, which means I use a lot of different materials in my artworks. I like to use a lot of vintage fabrics and vintage papers along with acrylic paint. My background is in art therapy.
Yes.
So I've always loved being in the art field. I have degrees in art, but I also have degrees in psychology and I have a master's in art therapy. And I used to be an art therapist at a children's hospital in Chicago for years. I was on the pediatric oncology unit. And then I also did, I did groups for seniors at an assisted living home.
I didn't know that. Oh, cool.
And then I did an after school program for at-risk teens. I've always found art has such a beautiful healing power because oftentimes we don't have the words, but we can express our feelings through paint or drawing or tell your story through art.
Yes.
So my background is in art therapy, and then we moved to St. Louis in 2008.
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
And I got pregnant with our first child, and she was premature.
Yeah.
And so we spent 77 days in the NICU. And so that really shifted my passion for working in a hospital setting.
Oh, yes.
Because it was too much. It was very triggering for me.
Yeah.
So we decided then that I was going to stay home with our children. We have 2 kids. We have a 14-year-old and an 11-year-old. Okay. So what I started doing was while they were taking naps, I would go and create my artwork, which was in the laundry room. The little studio was in the laundry room. While they were napping, I would always do my art. And that was a way for me to just be calm, and kind of regroup.
Too from your experiences.
Absolutely. It kind of gave me, I kind of tapped into my own identity rather than just be a mom.
Oh, good. I like that. Yeah.
And so I just kind of started building my little business, and Carolyn Lewis Designs came out because during their nap times, I was designing invitations and stationery.
What? Oh, I didn't know that. I mean,
so that's where it came
from you.
That's where you started.
That's where I started
selling.
Oh, I started an Etsy shop. And so that was in 2009.
Okay.
And then I just kind of shifted my creative process. And in 2018, I really started going full time in my art world, and I really kind of tapped back into my painting passion, and still was loving mixing all different kinds of mediums together because I just felt like one little medium just wasn't telling the whole story. So I like to layer and layer and layer and layer
and
on
textures.
My works.
Yeah.
And then I just decided in 2018 I was going to go full time being an artist.
That's awesome. And you're so good too with like the community, because I remember during COVID, right? Was it the couch, or when was that?
A lot of things happened during the pandemic.
Yes.
And what I found was um, that that crazy time in our
Mhm.
world became the best way. Art became the best way to connect with people because we were so isolated.
Yes.
And so I started several different community projects with. Well, the first thing I started doing was I got tired of being in my laundry room all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
With 2 kids doing virtual learning,
Right.
and everybody being so
gosh.
isolated,
Oh.
I decided to paint our back fence.
Oh, that's
The
yeah.
mural. I had never done it before, but I wanted to make the alley a little bit brighter.
Yeah.
So I started doing that. And then
Did that like bring out your neighbors?
100%.
Yeah.
I had an
how
audience.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Is it still there?
So yeah, the answer is yes. There's a mural still there, but I not the one that I painted in 2020.
Oh, there's a new one.
I about 2.5 years after I painted that, I got real bored and I power washed it off.
Oh no!
Oh my gosh.
And I painted another one. But so I did the mural, and I saw how the power of making a really boring space into something beautiful affects not just your own little home and yard, but it affects the whole neighborhood.
Yeah.
So then I painted a couch. It was called the Sit Down and Listen Bench, and that was in response to the George Floyd incident that just rocked my world. And so I created, it was a couch, it was a bench that had been in my parents' house for 25 years. But I painted it because I wanted to create a physical space for people to sit and look at each other and listen to each other, even though you didn't have the same opinions and the same worldviews, but you needed to sit down
and have a conversation and listen. Yeah.
And so for 2 years, this little bench traveled all around St. Louis to different businesses and different parks and homes and galleries. And so that really started my love for community art. And I'm just telling you all the things that then I decided to take off from the free little libraries that have like the take book. So then I started the art gallery, which that took my passion for just the community art. It went worldwide. And so I have artists from around the world showing art.
Amazing, really.
And people all over the country.
Oh, I love it. Ooh, I need to go buy it.
It's free.
Yeah.
So that is my passion is making art accessible to kids and adults with all experiences and seeing how art just connects us all.
Yeah.
Because it's our first language.
Oh.
When you're a little kid.
Oh, I guess you're right. I never thought of it that way. Just expressing it that way. Yeah. Communication.
And everybody is, around the world. Out of your language.
Yeah, that's true. It's universal. It's universal. Yeah. I never really, you're right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
So that's so now.
Where's the couch? No.
So the couch is not, the squirrels got a hold of it.
Oh no.
Cities
I know.
They do not discriminate on things that they chew up. But I cut the fabric off of the back and and it's framed in my studio.
Oh.
So in 2023, I opened up my own art studio.
Oh yes.
Macklind
On
Avenue.
Macklind Avenue.
5840.
Yes.
Macklind.
Where you have all your workshops.
I can teach workshops for kids and adults. I show my artwork there and create artwork.
Yes. Yeah.
So I went from the laundry room
to the studio.
Yeah. Beautiful studio.
Nice to see the progression.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I like it. And you still do like those community things,
100%.
right?
Yeah.
Because I remember, like you have those, like a scavenger hunt or something, where you'll leave your pieces of art in different businesses.
I have 2 of them.
Yeah, I have.
They're upstairs.
That is through the Macklind Business District. They do a little and so yeah, I think it's fun. I think it's I do I have since done many murals in the city, and
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I think it's hysterical that people know me through my murals that don't know what I look like, and then they see my artwork and they're like, "Hey, you did that one." So
Because
Very cool.
your birds were kind of the first big hit. Would you
Yeah.
say, or am I wrong?
yes,
Okay.
and I still do those. I call them my empowerment
Yes, I
birds.
love your empowerment birds.
They started out in 2018. I made 9 of them just for myself, and they're little tiny 4x4 canvases. And I saved all my dried paint palettes that were on paper plates, and I cut them out, and I made a little bird shape. And I got all the dictionaries from my grandparents,
Yeah.
and I would find empowering words and tear out the pages, and I would cut them into a wing shape, and that was the wing. And then I started using fabric backgrounds that were clothes of my kids that they had outgrown.
Oh, I love that.
And
Sheets. I have one with like your grandma's.
it was my
Your-
childhood
that's right,
sheet.
your
That's
childhood
right.
sheets.
Yes.
Yes.
And so that's the background. And then I took artwork that I wasn't ever going to use or didn't really love, and I would cut it up and I would make a border. But I did put red shoes on each of my empowerment birds.
Yes.
And the reason why is because I wear red shoes on days where I need a little extra confidence.
Oh, I like that.
It's like a game changer for me. I put my red shoes on. It's kind of my superhero cape, and it reminds me to put one foot in front of the other.
I like that.
And keep moving forward. It gives me a little bit of confidence. So the empowerment bird started in 2018, and I made 9 of them, and I wasn't going to show anybody.
Really?
I wasn't going to show them at all.
Yeah.
And in a few weeks after I made them, I put them on Facebook, and they all sold in like 2 hours.
Oh my
and
gosh.
then I have now since made almost 1,000.
What? Wow.
Yeah.
I only have 2.
Oh, I only have one, but I have other.
And they have gone worldwide,
That's
and
so
I
cool.
think it is just another example of how art connects us.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Well, and to kind of bring that into kind of our theme, right, of healing, and just like, what would you say how art has maybe healed you, or how you envision art as a healing tool?
So I have experience not just with my daughter being premature, but I lost my brother in 2008, and I have used art as a way of helping me through grief. It has been it has helped me open up conversations about loss and about it has tapped into a whole different audience for me. Like it has been a way for me to share about challenges that oftentimes don't come up in just normal conversation. But I have been able to do series of works about grief, and it's also helped me to tell my story. Not just about like losing somebody, but also in celebrations, about parenthood, about milestones that we go through being moms. And sometimes those are like you were just saying about our boys are finishing elementary school.
I know.
Like this is a chapter that's ending,
it is,
and
it's like bittersweet.
Yeah,
you know,
it's beautiful to watch them grow.
Yes.
But the way my art is, it helps me process those just life. They're not challenges. They're just like life events.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
and to celebrate all of them, the ones that bring kind of sadness or grief, or even ones that bring the joy and excitement and
nostalgia. Like sometimes it's like it's like for me it's a way for me to make sense of a lot of memories that I have that oftentimes that'll pop up, but oftentimes they were just like floating in your head, but they were not like shared, and then all of a sudden you put it out there and you realize how many other people connect with it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And you currently have a new what would you call it? Collection. Thank you.
Yeah.
That represents this shift in parenthood of launching our children. Yeah.
I just launched a collection last week. It's called Courageous Flight, and it's all birds. But as a mom of 2 kids ending elementary school and ending middle school, and then my nephew is graduating high school. Like, there's a lot of chapters that are ending, but also new chapters that are beginning, and having that confidence as a parent. Like, I've given them the tools. I hope I've prepared them.
Right.
And if I haven't, then then I'll be
come
ready.
back and we'll be ready.
Right.
Or they learn it on their own somewhere else.
Right.
Maybe I'm still like learning how to navigate these next chapters. But it is the whole collection was about watching your little babies fly,
Little baby
and
birds.
just witnessing that flight, but witnessing them become their own individuals, which is
I love it.
It's beautiful.
I know. It is beautiful. And and I think too, the modality of art and just the ability to express emotions and memories and things in a more concrete way that you can kind of like hold on to, and it's good.
It's freedom.
Yeah, it is freedom. And with your workshops, because we've been to a couple of them, and I am not confident in my abilities to do art, but when I go to your workshops, I can totally feel kind of that kind encouragement that maybe your training has helped with, but you're just so great with it. You're like, it's okay, just put your paintbrush on the page.
Well, I'll tell you, Catherine walked into my workshop, and her first comment was, "I'm not creative. I can't even draw a stick figure." And I knew right then that she was going to be my favorite student in there. I was like, I can't wait to watch what happens in the next 2 hours.
Right.
I can't wait to watch. And one of the things that I know I said in that workshop with you, and I say it in every workshop, and I learned this from one of my art teachers. Her name is Amanda Evanston, but she taught me, and it has helped me to reiterate this to my students, is perfect is boring.
Yes.
And wonky is more interesting.
Yes.
And our society is so like focused on perfectionism, and especially kids, that they get frustrated very easy if they don't get it perfect. And so I try to say,
and then
perfect
there's
is boring.
anxiety and
and then they stop. So being wonky, or making your flowers, crazy colors, or the stems, all crooked. It's more interesting.
Yes,
so
I love that.
That's you can take away that
wonky.
Yeah,
well, a little wonky.
Yeah,
I like it.
Well, what hit me was when you said it's freedom, right? Because I remember going into that workshop. It's not the first time I've ever done art or anything, but like I remember just going in, because it's not like a regular piece of my life every day, but going in and being kind of nervous, like, oh no, what is this going to look like? And am I even going to enjoy taking it home, or am I going to be like, ugh? And so like, people are so encouraging of just, just put it on there, just do this, but because it's like I want some of the tools, or I need the guidance of like, how do I hold the paintbrush, or just one of those things where it's like, okay, if I get started, then I can do something, or just a little bit of that guidance of try this. Oh, okay. And then at the end, it was like, woo, look at me making these flowers.
I remember what we said at the end.
What? I don't remember.
I do. I remember. You stopped and you looked. At the workshop was we did gratitude journals, and you stopped and you looked and you said, "I did this. I made this." And the look on your face was just pure pride and joy. And it was beautiful.
Yeah,
it was like, see, you walked in doubting yourself, and you are leaving like, holy cow, I did that. I made this.
And I love it. The journal is beautiful, but you being so proud was beautiful.
Right.
Yes, you are. Yes.
It's that like little bit of confidence that you can put in your pocket. Like when you start to self-doubt yourself, you can, like I said a few minutes ago, like getting out of your comfort zone and just kind of believing, like, this is going to be scary, this is going to be weird, but that's where the magic happens.
So, and that's what's so great about your workshops versus like nothing against those wine and paint things or whatever, where everyone is making the same picture, but it all looks different, which is great. But with you, you're really kind of, there's this encouragement and it's a safe space to be wonky, right? It's a safe space to go and practice and then come out and you did make your own thing, and there is a confidence to it of like, and pride, like, I did do this. And it's such an enjoyable experience. I really enjoy your workshops. Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome.
I oftentimes get people, they'll ask me, well, can I do, and then X, Y, and Z. Can I? And my answer is always yes.
Yeah.
Because I want them to try. I want them, let's see what happens. So I do art camps for kids. I do workshops for kids and adults. But with kids, oftentimes they're like, "Can I?" Da, da, da. And I know during my camps, it'll take about a day and a half before the kids pick up on the fact that I say yes to everything. And
they'll be careful.
And they'll say, "Do you ever say no?" Like and I'll say,
yes.
If it's dangerous, of course I'm going to say no. But like if you're just experimenting, then let's try it. Let's see what happens.
And that's what builds confidence, right? When we do things that we're not comfortable in and we're able to succeed in that, or at least even if we don't succeed, whatever that looks like, but just doing something that we walk through the discomfort. It's like, I was able to be uncomfortable and I still did it, right?
Yeah. My therapist talks about like just being okay sitting in the uncomfortable. I don't like to be uncomfortable, I'll tell you.
No.
I don't like it, but I'm learning about it.
Learning to accept that it's a
part
of this thing.
But, no, it's I just feel so passionate about the healing power of art in a variety of ways. Not just it's like beautiful to look at, but like it can tell a story. It can, build confidence. It can be relaxing. It can be a distraction. It can, like all of the things. I just feel like that's the power of it.
Yeah, I love it.
Helps us heal.
Yes. And so with healing, right, we can have glimmers.
Yeah.
And maybe some giggles.
Yeah.
Right? And so we like to ask people if they can think of a glimmer, which is, right, just like a moment where your heart swells or a moment you can go, wow, I've grown. Any glimmers recently?
I have to come back to, well, it happened yesterday. The people that picked up the painting that I was talking about, that did the live painting.
Yes.
After I had finished it at that auction, I brought it back to my studio to like finish it all up and varnish it and they came to pick it up, and the woman walked in and she said, I knew right away when I watched you paint, I knew I wanted this. And she said there was just something about this piece that just really I was just so attracted to. And she didn't even say anything to her husband, and he was the one that who bid and got in a bidding war with somebody else. He was in a bidding war. No. But she said he knew from from the way I was watching you that we needed this piece. And that, I mean, it's such a compliment. It was just such a beautiful, like, I had never met these people before, and there was something that connected us. And her walking in my studio and yesterday for the first time, and her telling me that, I had no idea. She was like, my husband just knew.
Well, I think that's a beautiful thing too. It says so much about their connection.
Yeah.
Right? For him to be able to see that and take that in and be like, okay, we need this.
Right. Clearly they knew each other.
That's so sweet too.
It was really beautiful, and it just made me it just filled me up. It was like a little bucket filler of like, man, these people, these strangers
got you.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And felt your energy and she just
But then they became closer too.
Yeah.
You know, like
I love it.
That feels good.
Yeah.
That's a good glimmer.
I have to share something about glimmers.
Okay. Yes, please.
So I briefly mentioned that I lost my brother in September of 2008, and so I have a grief season. My daughter was born on September 9th of 2009, and my brother passed away on September 14th of 2008. So September is a tricky time for me. It's like a grief season. So when this past year in the fall, I was talking to my therapist, and we were saying, let's walk through the grief season in a different way. Like, let's walk through and find the glimmers.
Yes.
And so that was just a new way for me to approach grief, to find the beauty and the like the little messages, that were like
that we might overlook because we're so busy
sad or like kind of like down, which is fine. Sadness is just a normal feeling. So that was a different way for me to walk through a grief season, is to just look for the glimmers. And I did an art piece about it, and it was called Always Look for the Glimmers.
Oh, is that piece?
Yes.
It found a home. It was the first piece to sell in the art show. The people walked up, and they both just started crying.
Oh my gosh! Well, that's like all kinds of glimmers.
It was like, and I was like, wait, why are they crying? And then I started crying. It was really pretty, but it was a new way for me to walk through a grief season, is to constantly look for those happy little moments, or those tiny little messages that remind you that you're gonna be all right.
Well, I even like just the label, like a grief season. I haven't thought about it in that way, but it gives it like space. It also gives it like its own time. It also gives it like, it's not gonna continue like this forever. It kind of has its spot, and then being able to walk through it differently. I love that. I'm gonna use that.
You should. It's for me, it's almost like when the weather shifts. I feel like that's when the season starts.
Okay.
It's a weird thing. And then I know if I can get past a certain day, then I'm like, I can take a break. I made it another year. But you're right. It kind of helps me have a beginning and an end to it.
But also gives that space to it. Like, this is an important time for me. This is a time where I want to sit in this space a little bit.
And I can give myself a little bit more grace.
Yes.
Exactly. I like that.
Yeah.
Very good.
That's so beautiful.
I know.
Do we need to share a glimmer?
Yeah, let's share a glimmer. I was just thinking, in regards to like people who've passed on, and our grandmother passed away a couple of years ago now, and so there'll be moments where I'm like, oh, grandma, and I can't think. I'm trying to think of something really specific. But it could be just, people talk about cardinals and things like that, and so there'll be moments where I'll look. There was a moment when I looked out our backyard from the kitchen, and there was a bright red cardinal sitting on a wire, because we don't have trees in our backyard, but we've got wires because we live in the city. But it was just kind of sitting there, and I'm like, Grandma, right?
Right.
And so, you might feel that. I miss, but there's also this kind of brightness, or there's that feeling of love, that glimmer of, I remember you.
It's beautiful. And it makes you pause.
Yes, it does.
It makes you.
When I saw it, I'm like, I paused and I thought about Grandma, and
For me, it makes me. For me, it's the glimmer moments make me feel the most present. It's like it feels
sense.
like so
here now. Yeah. I like it.
Yeah.
For you?
Thinking about grandma
I
gets
know,
me a
I'm
little.
sorry.
No, I think sometimes too, like glimmers, if we're not aware of them, they're hard to notice, and so make making sure we notice them so that we can really feel them. And I think, like if I were to think of well, I don't know, I was trying to think of a glimmer and nothing was like popping up real easily, but just thinking about grandma, I guess, because I was recently thinking about her. I think we were talking about her and just how, she was just so funny. Like you would be like, "I love you, grandma," and she'd be like, "Okay." And it was just a little thing like that where it was like, she loves you, right? And she just doesn't say it.
Yeah.
But it was like little things like that where we would just kind of be like, "Oh, this made me think of grandma because she would have said this."
Yeah.
Or she would have made us laugh because of this.
Right.
And that just happened a couple days ago. We were talking about grandma and how she would have, how she influenced our family and our mom and all of that. So
and y'all's connection.
Well, yes,
exactly.
Yeah.
Humor is such a part of the two of y'all's relationship.
Yes.
Yeah, she was funny.
And how humor kind of lightens the heaviness of the world and and any like serious situations. I think that's
she would
that's what
really lighten those heavy situations. Yeah. Oh goodness,
that was good. So the other part that we have to our podcast is a random question.
Oh goodness,
that we all kind of.
Wait, do we all three answer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're not alone.
Okay.
And you get to
get to pick the question, and we don't really know what's in here. So
yeah, we really don't know.
Okay. Oh, I think I got two. Or maybe no, it's just one long one.
They're very. It's extra long.
Okay.
Yeah. Let us.
Yeah.
What is the main goal of your mode practice work?
What is the main goal of your art work?
I think my main goal is to be true to myself and to create authentically, because when I create from my heart and create stories that are important to me, that's when I feel like I make a bigger difference and I connect with more people, and not falling for the create work that's just gonna sell or like just for other people, because that takes the power away of creativity for me. So I think that's where I'm like, just be as true to myself and what are my goals and my plans.
And then when you have those connections, right? They're real connections.
They're real.
Like the woman who, got your artwork just recently, and there was something there that was real from you and real for her. So that's a real authentic. Yeah. I like that. That's good. And I think on some level teaches all of us, if we can be our true authentic selves, right? That the people we connect with, if there's an authenticity there.
That's your true audience.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I like it.
Okay.
Oh, so our goal.
I know. All right,
Well, I was thinking. So for me, I guess how I would, as a couples therapist, right? So, and I use emotionally focused therapy mainly, and so I was thinking, I would say my main goal is understanding. But like when you put understanding out there in the world in a big way, in the sense of understanding each other, understanding ourselves, being able to communicate with the people we love. And the way I define communication is understanding, right? When I can understand where you're coming from, what you do makes sense, right? Like your reactions, your behaviors, they make sense. They're not always perfect, right? They're not always nice. They're not, they're not always kind, or they're not always maybe what we want them to be. But when we can put understanding around them, then we can figure out what to do with that, right? Maybe we want to change something, or maybe I don't know. So, and the understanding of ourselves, of when we see people out there with like big emotions and big reactions and anger and all these things, it's like, where is that coming from?
So there's empathy there too.
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
I
for
guess
sure.
with understanding,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
There's that empathy.
Yeah. Well, and so having the empathy for others
Yeah.
that I'm going to take the time to try and understand
Yeah.
you,
Mhm.
understand where you're coming from.
Yes.
And then the work that I do help you and your partner
Right.
find that space.
Yeah.
So that's my answer.
Very
I
good.
like that.
Very good. I was just sitting here and listening and thinking, I know we can't do it both at the same time, but anyway, rambling. Two different parts of my brain happening here. But I was first thinking of goal, right? What is my goal? And I was like, oh, well, maybe that's my goal for my clients. But again, my goal for my clients might not be their goal.
Mhm.
So I kind of pulled back. I'm like, what is my goal with the work I do? So I guess it is kind of similar. And I want to understand my clients and what they're going through so that I can help them. And so I guess I really just want to, my goal is to be there with them. And so just trying to stay in that room with them, to stay present with them, and just to be there. Yeah. And like listen and understand. It sounds so simple, but there's like
It's hard.
it is hard sometimes to be there and sit in all of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and to remind people, you don't have to be alone in this.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
and you can go through all of these hard things, but I'll go through it with you.
Mhm.
Right? As
Yeah.
a therapist. That's helpful.
So, yeah.
You're so good.
Oh, we just like having you
Oh,
around. You're so
yes.
sweet and good at what you do. And so let us know if people want to sign up for workshops or where can they find you?
Yes,
Websites, Instagrams, locations, all that.
So my studio is located at 5846 Macklind Avenue,
Okay.
St. Louis, Missouri.
St. Louis, Missouri. And my website is carolynlewisdesigns.com.
Okay.
On my website, I have all of my art workshops and my events coming up, and my artwork is on there, and a little bit of the background, my background. And then I'm also on Instagram as Carolyn Lewis Designs, and I keep that pretty updated and regular.
You do. It's good. It's good.
And I'm also on Facebook, same Carolyn Lewis Designs. But I do workshops for kids and adults, and then I do private parties. A lot of team work teams come in there and do some creative team building.
So you have some summer camps coming up for the kiddos too, right?
Summer camps coming up.
Dolores is signed up.
Yeah, I have one-day camps and week-long camps. One of my biggest favorite things about doing camps is that we get to celebrate the young artists.
Oh, yeah.
So that is one of my passions is to really celebrate this next generation of creatives. So the camps are coming up, and then I have workshops for adults.
Yes.
So are we talking about?
Oh, Playful
Well,
Palettes?
by the time this is launched, it'll have already be done. But we are doing our launch party at Carolyn Lewis Designs with their sisters, and we are so excited. That's going to be so fun. So if you were there, you know you had fun. If you didn't sign up,
next time
you missed it.
Sorry,
Too bad. No, we'll have to do another one so more people can come. So
great.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for coming.
Asking. I just adore y'all.
Yeah. And so we will put all this information in our show notes.
Yes.
And you can find us at therasistersstl.com.
Yeah.
And on Instagram, all of those good
Yeah.
things.
So keep listening.
And keep listening.
And keep having giggles
and glimmers.
Yes. Yay. I guess I'll take it off now.
43.
Oh, so almost right on.
Awesome.
We did longer than we
Even
did
3 minutes.